Hi, Slangel here from Slangel Designs, and today we're going to continue on with our basics, our series on the basics of knitting. And today we're going to talk about the purl stitch. So the purl stitch is usually used sometimes just by itself, but it's typically used in combination with rows of the knit stitch to give you your typical knitting, or it's used in making the ribbing for making like cuffs and stuff like that. So, and we'll get more into some of those concepts later on down the road. But right now we're just going to keep working with our basics, and I'm just going to pick up where we left off. Like in the last video, we did the knit stitch, which gave you the garter stitch when you did it row after row. I'm just going to pick up from there because I want to show you something as well. So a purl stitch is almost the backwards version of a knit stitch. So with this, you're going to, with the knit stitch, we went in from the front towards the back like that. For the purl stitch, you're coming in from the top kind of towards the bottom at the front of the stitch, if that makes sense. And then you're going to yarn over, pull your needle, push your needle through to the back and slide it off. So you're coming in from the back towards the front, kind of down towards the left, yarn over, push your needle through to catch that loop towards the back and slide it off. So again, in from the back towards the front, down towards the left, yarn over, push your needle through towards the back to get a loop on your needle, slide that off. So it's pretty much backwards from what the knit stitch was. Okay, so again, in from the back towards the front, kind of angle down towards the left, yarn over, slide your needle through so that it catches that loop, and then slide off to move the stitch to the next, over to the other needle. So let me get to the end of the row. So hopefully you're finding these basic tutorials for knitting to get you started helpful. If you have any questions or comments, please do feel free to put them in the comment section and I'll get back to you. I don't mind clarifying something, even if I have to make you another little video or something. I don't mind doing that at all if it helps out. So I am going to go more slowly when I get to the end of the round and we'll flip it over. Whoops, hit the camera. So once we get to the end, our work has now been shifted over to the other needle. So we're going to swap the needle into our, put that back over to my left hand, take the empty needle, move that to my right. So now you're going to notice that looks more like the typical knit because we had done knit rows and then did a purl row. And when we get further on down into the tutorials, you're going to see why that happened. But now I'm going to do another row of purl. So for the purl, we're going to come in kind of from the back to the front, down at an angle, yarn over, push our needle to the back to catch that loop, and slide out. Let me get a little closer here so you can see a little better. Coming in from the back towards the front, yarn over, push the needle back through, take that new stitch off. And again, don't be too tight. You want to keep a fairly consistent tension, but if you're too tight, it's too hard to get the needle in to the stitch. Okay. Careful you don't let the stitches slide off the end too. So in from the back towards the front, kind of down towards the left at an angle, yarn over, pivot your needle through so that you have a new loop on your hook, or new loop on your needle. So used to the crocheting. And this is the purl stitch. So in the last video, when we talked about the knit stitch and doing row after row of the same stitch, the same knit stitch over and over again, that it made that pattern that we see here, which we called the garter stitch. If you do row after row after row of the purl stitch, it's still the garter stitch. It gives you the same result. So let me rotate this over. You can see we did, when we were doing the previous videos, we did all knit stitches, which were these ones. You can see right here, there's just kind of a space. That's where we switched over to the purl. So we had a row of knit, then a row of purl. But now that we're back to doing just purl, we're back into getting that look of the garter stitch. So I'll do another row with you here for the purl stitch. So we've moved our work over to our left hand, the empty needles in our right, that we're gonna move our work over when we do our stitches. So we're gonna come in from the back towards the front, kind of down at an angle, yarn over, pivot that needle through to get that loop, and then slide your stitch off. Needle in from the back to the front, down at a bit of an angle, yarn over, pivot that needle through to grab that yarn, slide it off onto the new needle. So once you get this, I find the purl stitch goes faster than the knit stitch. I don't know why. Whether it's just the rhythm you can get into, it's a little bit better because of the angle. I'm sorry, the needles keep hitting the desk. So again, in from the back towards the front, down at an angle, yarn over, pivot your needle, and slide it off. Whether it's just the angle of it, so again, in from the back towards the front, yarn over, pivot that needle back, slide off onto your new needle. And this is the purl stitch. And again, if you do repeating rows of purl, much like the repeating rows of knit, it gives you the garter stitch. So there, we finished that row there. We would swap hands. And you can see a little bit better now. This was where we had done the video with just all knit stitches. This is where we switched over to the purl. So because we had done an opposite row, it starts to give you that different looking stitch. But now we're getting into the repeating, which gives you the garter stitch again. So that's the purl. If you have any questions or comments, please leave it in the comment section and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. I thank you for watching. I thank you for all the support of the channel lately. It's just been amazing. And again, like if there's anything you want to suggest to see a tutorial on, please feel free to do that too, and I'll see what I can do. Like somebody had asked me to start maybe showing some knitting, and here we are. So it's a community-based channel, really. It's all of us kind of working together. Even though we may not all be in the same room or the same country. And I think that's great. So I appreciate everybody watching, and I thank you for all the comments and letting me know where you're watching from. I think that's fascinating. It's the little things that amuse me, I guess. So anyway, that is the purl stitch. And I will have some more knitting basic tutorials coming for you soon. But these will be ones to get started with. And if you've done the casting on and the knit and now the purl, even if you want to make, you could easily, by doing purl constantly or knit stitches constantly, row by row, You could turn around and make this into a scarf. Easy peasy. Just as a practice and to get used to, you know, getting your tension right and just practicing your stitches. Quick little scarf might be something that you could do to get those stitches, not necessarily master, but under better control. So again, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you know anybody who might be interested in the channel, send them our way. We'd love to have more people join us. The more people that are enjoying it and taking part in the channel, the bigger the community and the more ideas and projects we can come up with together. All right, so take care. Happy knitting. I didn't say crocheting this time. Happy knitting, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.